All right, Nick, let's talk about one of our favorite teams to talk about. It's probably one of the most exciting teams that also has the number one pick. It's kind of hard to say that, but if you know the Chicago Bears, you know what we are talking about. This team has a lot of pieces. There's a lot of potential. I see a lot of Detroit Lions style turnaround for them in the coming years. But Nick, there is a really underrated move that the Bears have made and something that I think is going to pay off huge for them. I think you agree with me there as well, but we're going to get into that story there in just a minute. But Bears fans, you have the number one pick. You're probably going to trade back for a huge haul, so you have all the ability to address multiple positions in the draft. You can address stuff in free agent. You could get trade pieces from your trade back. So all of those options considered, I got to know in the comments below. Let us know, what do you want this team to address? What position group do you think would be the best suited to be addressed this offseason? Let us know in the comments below. But Nick, what's this sort of under the radar move that the Bears are making?
Yeah, one of the things in the offseason that sometimes gets glossed over by people following their teams or following the NFL media in general is that some of the best moves, both short term and long term, are making moves with people that have nothing to do with the product on the field on Sundays or Saturdays or Thursdays or Mondays or any day they play NFL football now these days. Of course, not talking about coaching changes or player changes, but executive changes. And this is a story by ESPN relating to the Chicago Bears. Here, I'll read from the report. The Bears named Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren as their president and CEO. Warren will replace outgoing president and CEO Ted Phillips, who announced in September he would retire after the 2022 NFL season. The report goes on to say Warren will oversee general manager Ryan Poles and the business operations of the club. That's really important there, according to a news release from the team. Poles currently reports to McCaskey, who's the owner. An organizational change that took place when he was hired. Poles was hired as the GM in January 2022. The big thing here, and the report goes on to mention, Mize, is that the Chicago Bears, of course, are building a new stadium. It's likely they're going to move into a Chicago suburb where they're going to build a new stadium from scratch. The city of Chicago is trying to show how they can upgrade Soldier Field and things like that. Doesn't look like it's going well. Looks like they're building a new one from scratch. And Kevin Warren made his name in sports by being an executive with the Minnesota Vikings before they built that beautiful stadium in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. That's, of course, the Viking Stadium is absolutely wonderful. It's tremendous. It's awesome. They had the Super Bowl there. So that's obviously, in my opinion, why the Bears brought in Warren to be their new president and CEO. It's not to oversee football decisions. It's not to make high level and low level decisions about the product on the field. It's to allow Poles and Eberflus and everyone in the general manager side, the football operation side, to focus on the draft, free agency, developing, scouting, finding talent. While Warren and his side, the business side, focuses on the new stadium, allows the football guys to not get distracted by all the business stuff and allows them to focus on what they do best. And of course, which is drafting, scouting, trading, all that kind of stuff. I think this is quietly a really smart move by the Bears. I think it's going to pay dividends for them short and long term. But Miles, give me your thoughts on this big executive change by the Chicago organization.
Yeah, Nick, this is really interesting because this is like one of the most non-Bears moves of all time. Hiring an outside guy who hasn't spent decades inside their organization. They like to promote from within. Because like Phillips, before he was there, he joined the organization in 1983. So he's been there for quite a while inside of the Bears organization. Eventually became the president. So Warren coming from outside, it shows you how attracted they are to him and the ability for him to do things for this organization. I like, you see the Vikings, you see the stadium. It's a beautiful stadium. I think they did a great job there. Obviously, 2 years after it was made, they host the Super Bowl there. A year after that, they host the NCAA Final Four there. So there's a lot of great stuff that comes with having a great stadium like that. And I just think that McCaskey, he said in an interview that he wants the Bears to have the best of everything, and that is not what they have in Soldier Field. There's a lot of history there, but it is quite frankly out of date, Nick. It is no longer has the ability to do all the things they want to do, and that's why moving to the entertainment district of Arlington Heights, Illinois, is going to be huge for the team. It'll kind of help them do all of the things that they want to do. So I think this is a really big move. I think Warren has the experience, as you said, to do all of these big time deals. Go through all the red tape. The bureaucracy of getting a stadium done is very, very tricky. And I think they hit a home run here. Like you said, this doesn't have anything to do with football, but this is going to affect the team for years to come.
Oh yeah, and because I think you brought up a great point. The fact that it's an outsider, because if they have hired, internally from within, or polls, or someone else had to take on a sort of partnership role with the president, CEO kind of deals there, what would have happened is there have been a lot of conflicting opinions and stuff, internal struggles, and the media would have been hard on them. It's like, hey, how can you be a Chicago Bear and want to move away from Soldier Field? And it would have been a distraction to the football team or to the coaching staff or to the executive staff and all that kind of thing. Instead, by bringing in an outsider, if this guy gets yelled at by Chicago media, what does he care, right? He's the Big Ten commissioner. He's been yelled at all the time, right? He's an outsider. He doesn't have any loyalties internally to the Chicago sports media scene or to the franchise in general. He's there to do a job. He's there to run it from the top down, mainly to take care of the stadium side. So that's why I think it's a really smart move. It removes all blame and all distraction from the football side, lets them do what they need to do, focus on getting that major haul for the number one overall pick, and quickly turn this team around, which, like you said, they have a really strong chance of doing.